Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, T. Kell, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. T. Kell and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 pounds and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event and SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America, 865-255-03. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, live here from the Low T Center Studios in beautiful Knoxville, Tennessee. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. Ben, good morning.
Good morning, Jason Swain. Happy Steelers game day to you. I know you are thrilled to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Minnesota Vikings tonight on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, I am. I'm more excited about that matchup than I am about the Bears-Packers matchup. They should play that game on ESPN 8.
ESPN Ocho.
Man.
Fields is back at least. At least. Or is he a 1,000% back, or is he possibly back? I saw an update yesterday, but I didn't really read it.
Cleared.
At least you have that to watch. Like, Fields is hella fun. So, at least you have that.
cleared. He's playing, so that's good. But it's the
like,
Packers. I don't want to watch us play against the Packers, man. We don't beat the Packers.
Yeah.
And the Packers right now are one of the best teams in the league.
Hey, the Packers did lose to the Vikings, and the Vikings did lose to the Lions. I think if the NFL has taught us anything this year, that anything is possible.
Not Bears beating the Packers.
Well, I didn't think the Lions would beat the Vikings. I didn't think the Lions would win a game this year. I did. I assumed that they would win at least one. I just didn't know which one. Just glad it wasn't my team. I'm happy with my tie, especially with Mason Rudolph. Thank you, Lord.
Why does the Bears? Why is the Bears playing the Packers on prime time?
Oh, Sunday Night Football?
Yes.
Oh.
It's on prime time, man. It's on prime time.
Well, I won't be watching Sunday Night Football this week. I'll tune in and see VFL Rodney Harrison on Football Night in America. I'll watch the pregame show and then click.
It is a Sunday night game, man. 4-8 Bears, 9-3 Packers.
And then after I hit click, I'll hear the Law and Order theme song, baby.
Oh, you gonna watch the game?
Yeah, I will.
You gonna watch it? You gonna
I'll
watch
watch
at
it
least the first bit of it?
I will. I'll watch it until it's decided. But you should kind of start to get excited this time of year. You've only got a couple of more. Oh, well, hear me out. Let me finish. Matt Nagy's about to get fired.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something to be excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Bears hopefully go out and get a good coach for you. And the Bears will. Do they have a first-round pick this year? Still?
Nope.
Khalil Mack still killing them.
No, that's we traded up.
Trading up for Justin Fields.
Yeah, traded up.
Oh man,
Giants
nice.
got our pick.
And what stinks about that is they'll blow it too. It's like they don't even deserve the first round pick.
Well, they'll have a new GM, so they might get it right. They might. But Tennessee got it right.
How so?
Desmond Williams picking him up, and as predicted, he has a star. And he has 3 stars out of nowhere, man. Funny how that magically happened that way.
Not only is he just a 3-star, and you are referring to 247's ratings.
No,
he picked one up on Rivals as well.
Mm-hmm.
I truly do not pay attention to the rankings, as you can tell. But I was going to add that 247 even went as far as to, well, I guess in the composite, he is the number 1 JUCO corner in the country. 247 has him as the number 4 overall JUCO corner. So even in the composite, he bumped all the way up to the top JUCO corner in the country.
Wow, man, it's amazing how that just happened.
Number 5 overall player.
Wow, must be coincidence. 865-255-03. Must be a coincidence.
I don't. It was funny to see the reaction. Rivals still does not have him ranked.
No, he just has a 5.7 rating, and he's a 3-star, but they do not have him.
I'm looking at a different Desmond Williams. It's the same Desmond Williams, but a different Desmond Williams profile.
Yours got his picture,
but
with
doesn't
no
have
stars.
Yes,
One offer.
Says he only has 1 offer, which is not true.
Mine has no picture, 3-star, 5.7 rating, 9 offers.
Says he's committed. Not my department. That is above my pay grade. But it was funny to see the reaction. Oh, Desmond Williams, the top JUCO corner in the country. Same folks who were, why did we take Desmond Williams?
I told you, man.
Earlier this week.
I told you. We talked about this the other day. I told you, man. I hope people that did not know what I was talking about before now understand that you have to take this stuff with a grain of salt and you don't treat it as gospel. I hope you understand that now.
It's okay to pay attention to it, but like you just said, that last sentence, don't treat it as gospel. Don't treat it as if Jesus Christ himself is telling you that he's ranked such and such.
It is not gospel. It's just something that you can reference if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. 865-255-03. Hour number 1 is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Let's go, Michigan. Let's go, Big Blue.
Well, Michigan's kind of – yes, go Michigan because we want them to beat Georgia. But, of course, Michigan gets good and affects Tennessee's recruiting. Tennessee was trending well with current Michigan commit Cody Jones. It's still trending well. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but he was really feeling Tennessee there last month and a half of the season, and then bam, Michigan turned up the heat, and he's back to feeling Michigan.
I'm okay with sacrificing one recruit for Michigan to beat Georgia.
I agree, and for those who do not know, Cody Jones is a 4-star DB out of Memphis from Germantown High School, who has been committed for Michigan for quite some time now, and Tennessee is still trying to flip him, and they might, but word on the street is that Michigan's really kind of surged back in front for him, even though they do have his commitment. John K. wants to know, I wonder if Jesus is a Rivals or 247 guy.
Both.
He's not ESPN, I can tell you that. Jesus,
Both.
I don't know. Jesus may be upset about the whole Trey Smith debacle.
That is true.
I had to sit this conversation out.
But he forgives.
He does forgive.
He forgives.
Shows grace.
That's right. That's right. He forgives. He forgives. Caleb Webb.
Yes.
Is he 6'4" or 6'2.5"? Which one is it?
I don't know. Honestly.
I saw 6'4", I saw 6'3", I saw 6'2.5". We're going to find out here soon when he hits campus. But Tennessee has a lot of momentum for him. He is now a 4-star. Santa gave Caleb Webb his present early for Christmas.
What's he on 247? Because us at Rivals, them folks, I don't know what they've got him ranked, but we have him as a 4-star.
247 has him as a 4-star.
Oh, what's bums? Where do they rank him at his position?
34.
We've got him at 45.
Yeah, 247's better.
But I'm telling you, he's going to outplay his ranking. I know that he's been bumped up to a 4-star. I think that's because he's down to Tennessee, Michigan, and Louisville, and he's not committed to ECU anymore. But he's essentially been a 3-star this entire process, a prospect that has been slept on, been overlooked. I mean, even the 45th receiver in the country, I guarantee you when we look at this 3-4 years from now, you're not going to name 45 better, 44 better receivers out of this recruiting class than Caleb Webb. You're not going to.
It usually happens that way. I remember when 2003 receiver class, and like Dwayne Bowe was in the 30s, 40s, or something like that, and he was a first-round pick. And some of the guys that were in the top 10, including myself, we didn't go to the league and blow up like Dwayne Bowe. So the receivers, that list is always crazy, man. It's always crazy. Usually the linemen, the big boys, pan out more than the skill position players, but I can see that. But hey, man,
I really like his game. I've raved about him the last couple of weeks. I think what he did his senior season is really impressive, and I talked about it last week. I really like Tennessee's receiver class if they do end up getting Caleb Webb. Squirrel White, I think he outplays his ranking. I think Cam Miller, he's already a 4-star and I think a top 250, top 300 player. But in a way, I think he's underrated. I think he's been forgotten about kind of amongst the recruiting landscape because he did not play a junior season because of COVID and the city of Memphis not allowing high schools to play. So in a way, I think Cam Miller has been forgotten about as well. I think he's underrated. I think Squirrel White is underrated in terms of recruiting ranking, not necessarily underrated in terms of coaches evaluating him because Nick Saban likes him, Georgia likes him, Tennessee obviously likes him, and several schools like him. But he'll outplay.
But the Stars said.
I don't know. He'll outplay his star ranking.
But the Stars said.
Caleb Webb, if he picks Tennessee, even if he doesn't pick Tennessee, if he goes elsewhere, he'll outplay his star ranking. I'm not as familiar with Chaz Nimrod's game as the other ones. I know he had a heck of a senior season, and the coaching staff likes him. I believe he was all-state there in Arkansas. So I really like Tennessee's recruiting class given the circumstances. Still need maybe those elite day one playmakers. That would always be nice. But I like the evaluations on the cuff of Tennessee's receivers class.
865, 255, 03. Man, it's already Thursday.
Game day. I'm so jacked up.
Really? You jacked up?
Yeah, man, Steelers. I love my Steelers. Come on now. Am I not supposed to be jacked up about them playing a football game tonight?
You don't get jacked up like this, with, when it's Friday and your team's playing on Sunday. It must be a Thursday night deal.
It's game day. I get this excited.
On Sunday?
Yeah, after church. Kind of count down to kickoff. Go to church.
I don't believe you.
All right. Ask my wife. She thinks I'm crazy, so.
I don't believe you.
Oh, I get jacked up. I get my terrible towel waving, get the dog going. Let's go. Play a little black and yellow.
Lil Wayne.
In the house.
Lil Wayne,
busted in
Wiz.
the house. Get it. Wiz. Both.
Lil Wayne got the green and yellow. That's right, because he's a Packers fan.
Yeah.
I know he was.
Yeah. I think Lil Wayne has a black and yellow like remix type of song, but I always prefer Wiz because he is a Yinzer.
That's right. He really is.
Wiz
from
is a
Pittsburgh.
Yinzer. Then I bump some Renegade. Oh, we get it going in the McKee household on game day. It's just like a Tennessee game day.
False. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
Hi there, Swain Event family. Are you in the market to purchase a home and a bit freaked out with the market right now? As someone who has been in your spot before, I'm familiar with what's going through your brain. And as a realtor, I've mastered the ins and outs of the buying process. When you work with me, you'll benefit from my experience, and together we'll work toward making sound, smart decisions for your future. And of course, talk a little Vol Sports along the way. Just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design. JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Man, it's a shame. It is a shame what's going on down there in Florida with their recruiting, man. Just so much drama. You just really hate to see a class fall apart the way that the class is falling apart there in Florida.
I do hate to see Billy Napier pick up a W yesterday, though, by hiring LSU's Corey Raymond as assistant head coach of the defense, and he was the cornerbacks coach there at LSU, and LSU has been viewed as DBU. Corey Raymond's been there a long time, and several LSU NFL DBs were not too pleased about him leaving. So that is a big win for Billy Napier to get him.
Huge.
It's weird, though. My initial thought was how weird it was because LSU and Florida, they always bicker back and forth about who the real DBU is.
Yes, it's LSU.
And he's been at LSU, and he's been arguing that LSU is DBU, and now he's got to go to Florida and recruit as if Florida's DBU. That's my first thought.
Yeah, I wonder if it was the associate head coach title that got him to Florida, because if you're LSU and you're willing to spend that money for Brian Kelly and you're going to have to spend big money for Frank Wilson, how do you let Raymond leave? Like, it had to be about money. It had to be about title and advancement. It had to be. As happy as Marcus Spears, the LSU alum, was about Frank Wilson being hired by LSU, he was the opposite, the complete opposite about Raymond leaving LSU to go to Florida. So that's Florida's biggest win.
Yep.
Of the whole Billy Napier era so far is getting Raymond. But, yeah, man, they are losing commits left and right. It seems like the commits are talking amongst each other and getting each other to decommit. And man.
They've had 4 within the last 36 hours. You had C.J. Smith decommit Tuesday night. They had another big-time player decommit earlier that day. They had a 4-star quarterback decommit. Yesterday they had a 3-star in-state defensive lineman, and although he's a 3-star, Take Knowlton, what a name. His name is Take.
T-A-K-E?
Mm-hmm. Take. If one day when I have kids, Swain, if I name my kid Take, please slap me. I'm giving you permission to slap me, and I won't slap you back.
What about if you don't name your kid Take? Can I still slap you?
No. If I name my kid something as egregious as Take, Yes, you can.
What about if you name your dog after a baseball player that has not won a World Series yet for your team? Can I slap you then?
Then I'll smack you for being disrespectful. Judge is an awesome name. How dare you? But take Knowlton. He's just a 3-star, but he's been selected to play in the 2022 All-American Bowl. So take that for what it's worth. But several decommitments over the last couple of hours, or I guess you could say that, over the last 36 hours or so. For Billy Napier. And I know it's the popular thing to do, to pick on him and make fun of Florida. But, folks, it's not indicative of the job Billy Napier is going to do at Florida. These aren't his commitments. These aren't his recruits.
He's going to be good.
He's going to be fine. And if this is happening this time next year, then yes, okay. Then it is something to seriously take note of. But right now, they're not his guys. Just like Eric Gray, Henry T, Wanye Morris, Jameer Johnson, Quavaris Crouch. They weren't Josh Heupel guys.
This is what happens when you have a coaching change. You have the turnover. It's part of it.
And Tennessee fans should know.
We should definitely know.
I mean, think back to when I'm going Tennessee basketball on you. When Konzo left for Cal,
Hands,
and Donnie Tyndall took over. I mean, Konzo had a really good recruiting class coming in. I don't remember what the ranking was or anything. I mean, it wasn't an elite recruiting class, but I mean, he had 3 or 4 4-star prospects getting ready to sign or had already signed, and they weren't Donnie Tyndall guys. So I remember one went to Florida State, and the others, they never made it to campus either. As much as we would like to think recruits pick a school for the school, they don't. Just like Desmond Williams, the JUCO corner that we talked about to start the show and committed to Tennessee on Monday. He loves Willie Martinez, and he sees early playing time at Tennessee. Early playing time, and Willie Martinez is why Desmond Williams is signing with Tennessee next week. Not because of Tennessee and the power tee and running through the tee and the vol walk, as much as that would be awesome. It's just not the case. That's like a cherry on top. It's not their deciding factor. As much as we would love it to be.
I thought it was the uniforms.
No.
I thought it was the black jerseys.
Although I did take note, he was really the first. I think he's the first recruit that I've seen take photos on his visit in the black uniform.
See? It's the black jerseys, man.
It looked clean, too.
That's what pushed him over the top. Ricky B says, Ricky B in North Alabama says, I name my animals after my sports favorites, too. I've had a Peyton, a Lofton, a
Pex
after Peke. Arena.
Pekka. You better put some respect on Pekka's name.
And a Dobbs. It's definitely better than naming a kid after them.
What I want to know is, Ricky B, do you have a zoo at your house? A Peyton, a Lofton, a Pex, a Dobbs?
I mean,
and these are all
recent,
somewhat recent. Pex, I mean, he's been there for a while, but Dobbs is recent. I would imagine he named him Pex, kind of second half of Pekka's career. Peyton and Lofton are old. Yeah, that's right, Chris. I called you old. Chris Lofton, you old, bro.
He got gray hair.
He does have gray hair.
He got a little gray hair. He sleep right now.
Aren't you older than him?
Yeah, I got gray hair. I'm embracing it. I like to call it seasoned. Seasoned.
Well, it's right.
I'm seasoned.
I look like I'm seasoned, and I'm not that seasoned.
Yeah, you aging like Bush Jones over there.
The real D from the 423 makes a good point. Did you see the kid Dakotas? Oh, yeah, I know you saw because you were tweeting at Bryce.
Mm-hmm. I love that name.
I'm going to name my kid. Thank you, real D from the 423. I'm going to name my kid the hottest. The hottest McKee, baby.
That is pretty good.
That is a created player on Madden. That's his name.
The hottest.
The hottest McKee.
The hottest. And all his name needs to be on, like, social media. No name, just fire emojis.
No, you got to put the day and the apostrophe and then all the fire emojis. The hottest. The hottest McKee.
Chris says, Swain, I thought you were bald. I got hair on my face, man. I got gray hair on my face.
Do you consider, like right now, you look like you just have a really, really short buzz.
Yeah, it's like
you're not bald right now.
Yeah, it's like a little shadow.
I like the shadow. It's the Jeremy Pruitt shadow.
No.
Yes, it
Do
is.
not. Do
It
not.
is the Jeremy Pruitt shadow.
Do not. I apologize for the butch dig. I apologize. I apologize. Let's see here. JD Vol says we named our daughter Naylin. Should see her smile every time they say it on game day. Hey, that's a pretty name.
I like Nealon.
Yeah, that's a pretty name. Pretty name. Chip Payne says mom and dad must be P. Diddy fans. Take that. Bad boy for life. The hottest. I do like that. James GBL says, so what you're saying is the help train is making some stops in Florida? No. I mean, even though Tennessee is in on one of Florida's decommitted wide receivers.
C.J. Smith.
Mm-hmm. ATF VFL says they are down to 79th on Rivals. And this is what Billy Napier said was going to happen. So, and this is what happens all the time when there's a coaching change. So, it's fun to make jokes, but I do expect Billy Napier, this next recruiting class, to do a whole lot better. And I expect him to be successful in Florida, whatever your definition of success is. Like he'll be okay. He'll be better than. He'll be there longer than Mullen. And I think he'll be competing for SEC East championships here soon. I think Bill Napier's a really good coach.
Yeah, I'm not quick to judge one way or the other anymore in terms of what I think a coach is going to do at a school, because how many examples do we have of a coach that we think is absolutely going to kill it and they just completely drop the ball?
Yeah, Florida's different too.
And the flip side of that, how many coaches have we seen that we didn't think was going to be very good and turned out to be pretty decent? So I kind of reserve. Let me see year 1, year 2, and then I'll start to formulate an opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's, the structure around the coach matters too. So Florida has a lot of meddling and things like that. So we'll see. Zook says, my wife had a student named Sir. Oh, that's great. That's great. A teacher showing respect to their student. Sir. Put your hands up if you're going to say something. Sir. That's great. Chris says, here's a recurring question. Do we allow Daryl Middleton back?
No. Wish him the best, but no.
I don't think that's going to happen. Chip Payne says, what about Napier saying that stars don't matter in recruiting? That man is already making excuses. I think every coach says that. I mean, it's not like he said that after signing day. Because remember, Butch Jones said that after the result was not pleasant, after you didn't have a good signing day. Then he said stars didn't matter. Then Napier said stars didn't matter the moment that he got the job. And every coach feels that way. Until the recruiting department, until the media department wants to put out a graphic bragging about how they finished in the top 5. Oh, it don't matter until you want to put out a recruiting graphic that, oh yeah, our coach is the best, one of the best recruiters. We finished in top 5 for 3 consecutive years. Well, you can't say that, promote that, and then on the other hand say the stars don't matter. It either matters or it doesn't. Which one is it? John K says, I don't understand our fascination as a fan base. with Daryl Milton. Because anytime there's somebody that wants to be here, we want them to be here because we want to be good and we think that that player is going to help us be better. That's why we get all emotional because he's from Knoxville. But, guys, it's the reason why he's not here. It's the reason why he didn't last at West Virginia. And it's the reason why this staff is saying no thank you. And it's no shade. It's no you certainly don't want to throw a kid under the bus. But that is the truth. That is the truth. Vol Grizz Cub says Lane Kiffin to Oregon. I mean, I think that would be a perfect fit for Oregon.
Lane Kiffin?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lane, it came out last night that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I forget the wording that was used, but
not in the mix.
Yes, not in the mix.
Not in the mix.
If I'm Lane, I'd rather stay at Ole Miss. The path at Oregon is easier, but now with Lincoln Riley and what it looks like Lincoln Riley is going to be able to do from a recruiting standpoint on the West Coast, if you're Lane, would you rather be in the SEC or go up against that? What would you rather do? Be in the SEC, even at Ole Miss? Because even being at Ole Miss, being in the SEC still has its perks. And going forward, I mean, you can see with the quarterbacks that Lane is considering bringing in this recruiting cycle, whether it be in the portal, whether it be high school quarterbacks that they are targeting. I mean, he's going to be able to go get a top quarterback from here on out at Ole Miss. Would you rather deal with being at Ole Miss in the SEC or try to go up against Lincoln Riley in the Pac-12, although he's just like the only team that you really have to worry about?
Yeah, I would rather be in the SEC.
I think I would too. But, I don't know, you get to thinking about the SEC West and, I mean.
Well, the playoffs is about to expand. So if you can get yourself in one of those last couple spots, now you do have to deal with a better Texas A&M. You're going to have to deal with, I'm sure, LSU that's going to be, pretty good too with Brian Kelly. Then you have to deal with Alabama. But how you going to pull kids from California to Oregon with Lincoln Riley there? But I like to see Lane with those resources of Oregon. And I like to see Lane's ego up against Phil Knight's ego. I think that would be awesome.
Yes. I want to see whether Lane would sink or swim at a big-time job, like where there's a ton of pressure on him. Because I could see him sinking because there's still a lot going on behind the scenes there with Lane. But I do think that he has matured and kind of developed into his own. And I don't think he's the same coach that he was at USC. So I'd be curious to see how he would, like over the last year or two, like if he had gotten the Auburn job, if he had gotten the LSU job, the Oklahoma job, the Miami job, heck, if he had gotten the Tennessee job, now the Oregon job, the USC job, like any of those type of jobs, I would love to see whether he sunk or swam, because I could see it going either way. Couldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I also think there's a reason why none of the schools in the SEC have really tried to get Lane. I mean,
I don't think it's just an SEC thing. I just think it's a college football. The book is out on Lane.
I'm just saying.
It's not a coincidence that Lane did not get a bigger job, and it's not because he wants to stay at Ole Miss. I know he got his little contract extension, but that's not why he stayed at Ole Miss. Bigger job pursues him. He's not the coach at Ole Miss today.
865-255-03. Stay with us. Be right back.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event.
If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill, or call 865-693-5400. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy. Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
Time for around the SEC. All right, Ben, what we got today, man?
Well, we've already talked about a good bit of what I had bookmarked, and that's totally fine. I love talking SEC football. I know this is a Tennessee show, and my second passion after Tennessee athletics is SEC athletics itself. So
it's crazy how it turned into a Tennessee show over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. The big news, in my opinion, yesterday in the SEC was, as we mentioned, Corey Raymond, LSU's defensive backs coach. He is headed to Florida to be an assistant head coach of the defense. So not just an associate coach, but an assistant coach of the defense, whatever that means. Assistant head coach of the defense and cornerbacks coach.
Means more money.
Yes. Well, and I would be curious to know if Brian Kelly is bringing his own guy. I get bringing your own guy, but there's some coaches in college football that you make him your guy. That's kind of how I felt with Sam Pittman when Butch left. I get it. Yeah, Butch wants to bring in his own guy, but it's Sam freaking Pittman, arguably the best offensive line coach in college football. You make him your guy. You make it work. But who knows what Brian Kelly is doing. Brian Kelly did decide to retain LSU's offensive line coach, Brad Davis, who is the interim head coach for the bowl game. And Brad Davis did a terrific job with LSU's offensive line, considering all the injuries this season. He is highly regarded amongst college football folks, Brad Davis is. So that seems to be a really nice move for Brian Kelly to retain him to be the offensive line coach. Traylon Burks, the receiver at Arkansas, his college career has come to an end. He announced yesterday that he is declaring for the NFL draft, and he will not play in Arkansas's bowl game. And he was one heck of a receiver. I'm curious to see how his game translates to the NFL, because he's not a speedster. He's not the quickest guy, but he's just a beast.
He's just a beast.
Kind of reminds me, is it fair to Anquan Bolden type of guy? And I hate that he's the first. It's the easy comparison for any tough receiver that makes the tough catches and physical receivers. Anquan Bolden's always the one that comes to my mind first.
Yeah. I mean, there's room for guys like that. They don't all have to be small, shifty, Cooper Kupp type of guys. I mean, there's room for your Traylon Burks, and he's a good football player. Like, period. He's a really, really good football player. So he's gonna make some money, and I think he'll be successful in the NFL. He's a baller, man. One of my favorite players in the SEC to watch.
Yes, he is awesome. That Arkansas offense has a lot of players that I like. I really like KJ Jefferson.
Yeah, I do too.
I like Rocket Sanders, but that's mainly because of the name.
Chris compared him to Jawan Jennings. Just tough.
He's a little thicker than Jawan.
Yeah,
both are very physical, but they're built different.
Yeah,
he's more compact than Jawan is.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other quick things. But you have
Other McKee and Mike says assistant to the head coach. No, that's not what Corey Raymond. That's not his title. His title is literally assistant head coach of the defense and cornerbacks coach. That is his title. So
wow,
you find ways to be able to give coaches more responsibilities with titles, so that way you can pay them more. So it's not an assistant to the head coach. He's not like a secretary. He's a real on the field assistant coach. But in this case, it is a assistant head coach of the defense, whatever that means.
Kind of like how the run game coordinator, pass game coordinator came to be about.
But yeah.
It
makes more sense than this.
It does.
Assistant head coach of the defense.
But it felt like that was a way to create a little more money.
Like, how about you just be the assistant head coach?
Like, wasn't T like the passing game coordinator?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a passing game coordinator. But that makes more sense than assistant head coach of the defense.
And T, like, in practice had a sheet in his hand of, I don't know, I guess different route concepts that the quarterbacks and receivers wanted to work on. And, I mean, he was standing behind the quarterbacks and watching kind of during routes on air. So he did appear to be a legitimate passing game coordinator. I just think it's funny because ultimately the offense coordinator has the final say. I mean, which is fine. Just two other quick things. Landon Jackson at LSU, former 4-star defensive lineman who is a freshman. He has entered the transfer portal. And then I mentioned C.J. Smith decommitting from Florida. I mentioned Mr. Take entering or decommitting from Florida. You had the quarterback decommit. The other big decommitment within the last 24, 36 hours for Florida was 4-star receiver Jaden Gibson, who Tennessee did have some communication with early in the process. Don't believe that there's been any of late, but that's 2 4-star receivers that have decommitted from Florida. So you love to see that. The SEC Players of the Year were announced yesterday, and this is an early attaboy for Velus Jones Jr. because he was named the SEC Special Teams Player of the Year. He and Jamison Williams from Alabama were the Special Teams Player of the Year. Very deserving for Velus. He finished, I don't have the stats right in front of me, but he finished second in the SEC in kickoff return average, and he finished first in the SEC in punt return average. So Velus Jones, very dynamic on special teams this year, and I tweeted that out yesterday, and don't remember the name of the person who responded to me, but the person said and commented like, hey, now that's how you make sure you make an NFL roster and how you make yourself some extra money, and that person is absolutely right. I think Velus's value on special teams is going to help him just as much as anything during the recruiting process, during the NFL draft process.
Yep, 100%.
Bryce Young was named the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. Will Anderson named the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Brock Bowers, the Georgia tight end, was the Freshman of the Year. Tyler Beatty from Missouri was the Scholar Athlete of the Year. Darian Kennard from Kentucky won the Jacobs Blocking Trophy, which is awarded to the top offensive lineman in the SEC. And then Kirby Smart was named the SEC Coach of the Year.
Velus was the only player in the nation with more than 700 receiving yards, more than 500 kickoff return yards, and more than 200 punt return yards. So Velus had 722 receiving. He had 506 return yards, and then he had 272 punt return yards. He averaged 126 all-purpose yards per game, which was third in the SEC. He led the SEC in punt return average at 16, which is more than a first down and a half. He was second in kickoff return average at 28 yards per return, and he led all active players in FBS with 2,851 career kickoff return yards. So, doing work in special teams, and that's something that he did at USC. I saw Bill Martin, SID for Tennessee football, mention that Velus' experience as a transfer is just a great story. To play 4 years at USC, and then his last 2 years at Tennessee, and what he was able to accomplish being a captain, representing Tennessee SEC Media Days, and then going out as Special Teams Player of the Year, Senior Bowl, the chance to play at the next level, a chance to get drafted.
And the Senior Bowl named him a Senior Bowl All-American. The Senior Bowl puts out an All-American team every year, and he was named to that Senior Bowl All-American team. Not sure how they construct the Senior Bowl All-American team. I don't know if it's everybody in college football that they take into consideration or just people that are participating in the Senior Bowl that they pick from. And I would imagine I did not click on it and read it. I just saw the Senior Bowl's tweet, and I would imagine that he was on there as a return specialist or an all-purpose player, kind of like how he was named All-SEC first team all-purpose player and as a return specialist. I would imagine it was in that category. But Velus is awesome, man, and he's another guy that just is impossible not to root for. Impossible not to root for. And the last 2 years, he's spoken to the media quite a bit, especially this season, and he's been really, really fun to talk to and get to know, not on a personal level, but guys like Matt Butler and Theo Jackson and Velus Jones, this year Jerome Carvin, guys who repeatedly talk to the media and are kind of the faces of the football team for that year in terms of speaking with the media. Again, you don't necessarily get to know them on a personal one-on-one level, but you start to feel like you get to know them just from them speaking to the media. And Velus was always a great quote and very open and thoughtful and was not afraid to. I mean, there were times where he talked about his. I don't know if depression is too strong of a word to use, but talked about mental health several times, and that it was just good for his mental health to be back in the South after being out at USC, just because he's closer to family. He wasn't afraid to talk about that, wasn't afraid to always talk about how he grew up in Saraland, Alabama, which is essentially Mobile, and how big of a dream it was, excuse me, for him to play in the Senior Bowl. So it was really cool to get to know Velus from that extent, and he's impossible not to root for. There's a ton of those guys on this football team, but Velus was definitely at the top of that list.
No doubt about it.
We didn't have him on Prime this year, did we?
Mm-mm.
He's
it
one
was
that
hard. It was hard to get receivers on.
Yeah, I know, and understandable, but understandable in the sense that they meet on Tuesday nights. They have meetings on Tuesday nights.
Everybody met on Tuesday nights.
I wish that Velus could have made it, because I think he would have been one of the better ones. I don't think that there was a bad player in terms of like entertaining out there. I thought each player, even the ones that weren't as talkative, like Byron Young, he doesn't have the Cade Mays personality or the Cooper Mays, and it's just gonna talk for days. But he had an awesome story. Jerome Carvin kind of the same way. Jaquan Blakely kind of the same way. They're not the most talkative guys, but what they do say is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and I wonder about some of those guys. Do you see more of their personality if you got to know them a lot more? I mean, Kay was obviously more comfortable, was more out of his shell. I know that there's people that seem a certain type of way when you meet them the first time, or when they are in a setting that's a little uncomfortable, but you get them in an environment where they're comfortable, they feel better talking to you, then you really see their personality. You're like, dang, man, this dude is really outgoing. This person's really outgoing. If you get them in a setting where they're super, super comfortable. So Prime is different, man. It's not like a press conference, but it's also not like you just sitting around on the couch and just talking. No, you sitting around, but like everyone's still watching and listening too. So it is more comfortable, but at the same time, you still got to be careful about what you may say, because it can end up on someone else's bulletin board. So is Kirby Smart really SEC Coach of the Year, or do you think it should have went to someone else? That's the question.
Well, before we answer that question, I think you have to ask the question of what makes up the SEC Coach of the Year? Is it somebody who has the best team in the conference, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, or is it a team that overachieves, like a Josh Heupel, so on and so forth? Because it really depends on how you look at it. Because, like, I understand somebody saying Kirby Smart should be Coach of the Year. I understand somebody saying Nick Saban should be Coach of the Year. Lane Kiffin just led Ole Miss to its first ever 10-win regular season. Lane Kiffin should be SEC Coach of the Year. Like, I understand those people, but then there's also this thought process of, well, those guys did what they were supposed to do, and so let's give it to the people that overachieved, like a Josh Heupel. Shane Beamer was in the conversation there for a minute. I'm forgetting somebody that overachieved this year. Maybe it's Lane. Somewhat overachieved. So
here's a topic that, well, I understand different angles of it. Like, I understand both sides of it. I understand why Kirby should be Coach of the Year. I understand why Lane should be Coach of the Year. For Lane to take a Ole Miss team that has never won 10 games in a season, that's a pretty huge accomplishment. I understand why people look at Josh Heupel and say Coach of the Year. It's hard to take Josh Heupel over Kirby and over Lane when Heupel lost 5 games. But at the same time, what Heupel did was freaking remarkable when you look at what he was, the hand he was dealt. It's a very, very good conversation. Hour 2 coming up.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Several of you, like Ben McKee, have reached out to me for real estate assistance this year, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate your trust in me to ask questions and help you navigate the real estate world.
That's right, Jennifer. Buying a home is a scary process, especially for a first-time home buyer. Jennifer recently helped my wife and I buy our first home and made the entire process seamless. Her willingness to go above and beyond is what sets her apart.
As always, feel free to give me a call. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
Hey, it's Men's Health Month, so make sure to get all your levels tested with a comprehensive annual health assessment at Low T Center. They exclusively specialize in men's wellness. Low T Center now offers monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for just $155 a month, self-pay, or is covered by most health insurance. And they ship directly to your home. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Touchdown or Turnover is backed by Alcoa Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Touchdown or turnover, back by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, the place where you belong. The question, should Kirby Smart be the SEC Coach of the Year? Touchdown or turnover. Again, back by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, the place where you belong. ATFCU.com is their website. Better rates and better service.
I say turnover. Should have been Nick Saban.
Nick Saban, why?
Should have been SEC Coach of the Year. Well, first, I'd like to say I would love to know when the votes were made. If they were made after the SEC championship game, which I assume that they were, it's a joke that Kirby was voted SEC Coach of the Year. And as I thought during the break of what do I value? Do I value, a team going 11-1 and winning the SEC championship game kind of like they were expected, or Kirby doing what he was expected, which technically he did not do what was expected because he didn't win the SEC championship game. That was a preseason expectation, and he did not meet that expectation. So I don't understand how he can be SEC Coach of the Year when he didn't meet that expectation. I mean, it was boom or bust for Kirby this year, and he did not boom. He busted. So, and like I got to thinking, like, recruiting is 75% of the job. It's 75% of the job. So I think, like, Kirby should deserve credit for living up to the expectations because he got his team to that point, and within a certain year, like he did go undefeated, won the East, got to the SEC championship game. But again, assuming that the votes were casted after the championship game, I don't understand how he can be SEC Coach of the Year because he failed. That was the goal. SEC championship game, national championship, boom or bust this year, and he busted. Whereas Nick Saban, he would get my vote because he went 11-1 in the regular season after losing Mac Jones, Najee Harris, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, lost a couple key pieces in that Georgia secondary, or Alabama secondary. He had to replace a lot. And I know Alabama didn't always pass the eye test, and Nick Saban would not have gotten my vote on Friday. But again, assuming the vote is casted after the SEC championship game, him winning the SEC championship and beating down the number one team in the country is what pushed it over the top for me. I think it is a very impressive coaching job to get Alabama to this point. I know they have all that talent, but to replace all of what was lost seamlessly, to do with Bryce Young, he has been able to do this year. He won a Heisman the year after Mac Jones left. I mean, that is remarkable. And to look the way that they did against Auburn and to come out and beat down Georgia the way that they did, that's also an impressive coaching job. So as difficult it is for me to do, and as much as I hate to do it, Nick Saban would get my vote post SEC championship game if that's when the vote would be casted.
Oh boy, always a tough question here, especially this year, because I mean you can make the argument that what Lane did at Ole Miss was pretty dang good. You can make the argument that what Josh Heupel did at Tennessee was pretty dang good, and those that have Nick Saban and have Kirby Smart in that conversation, their counter argument will say, well, they're supposed to be good because they recruit at a high level. Well, coaching, and you just mentioned this, 75% of coaching is recruiting. You don't get dinged for doing a great job of recruiting. That's actually part of the title as a coach. So you get points for that. I look at the entire season. In the entire season, which was more impressive, what Nick Saban did at Alabama or what Kirby Smart did at Georgia? And Alabama did not play like the number one team in the country for the majority of the season. Now, they're number one right now, but they didn't play like it. I saw a tweet where Peter Burns had said on the radio show that Alabama beat Georgia when Alabama had their worst team in the Nick Saban era, or one of the worst teams in the last 10 years of Alabama. and beat a Georgia team that had their best team in the last 40 years. Georgia, what they were able to do this season, which was basically dominate everybody, except for one game, to me, I would give it to Kirby because of the body of work the entire season. Now, the SC championship game, the result of the game was what I expected. I expected for Alabama, because they have the personnel offensively to beat Georgia. I expected for Nick Saban to out-coach Kirby Smart in that one game. But the reason why I would give the slight edge to Kirby, even though I feel the way I feel about Kirby Smart, this is me putting my emotions to the side and looking at the full body of work, it's hard for me to give it to anyone else besides Kirby when you look at that, how dominant that defense was, how dominant Georgia was in every single game this season except for one. And Alabama, even though they now have the same record and Alabama won the head-to-head, they didn't play as well as Georgia for the majority of the season. So I would give a slight edge. We splitting hairs here on who should get the award, because we just named 4 people that are probably deserving of the award.
There's a lot of coaches who deserve to have their name in the conversation. And thank you to the text box for reminding a couple names that I was forgetting. Sam Pittman deserves to be in that conversation.
Yep.
I would not at all vote for Mark Stoops, but he led Kentucky to a 9-3 season. He deserves to be in the conversation. Doesn't deserve to win it, but he should be mentioned. He led Kentucky to a 9-3 season. That is hella impressive. It's Kentucky football, and they went 9-3. His name is
that's what we're looking at the logo instead of just looking at the team. The team is comprised of good transfers and veterans. If you just take the logo off the helmet, he's supposed to go 9-3. When you look at their schedule.
Yes, but we're also rewarding Georgia and Alabama for doing what they're supposed to do and meeting preseason expectations.
I haven't said anything about expectations. I was just talking about the job itself. The job itself, for me, is more important than just looking at expectations. And I know that's part of it, because that's why hype was in the conversation, right? Because the expectations were that Heupel was only going to win 3, 4, maybe 5 games, and Heupel has a chance to win 8 games. So I understand that's part of it, but for me, I look at the job at hand. Mm-hmm. And what Mark Stoops did was take a team that was pretty good as far as, the veterans that he had on his team, the personnel. He went out and won in the transfer portal, and that's part of coaching too, right? That's recruiting. I don't mind putting Stoops in that conversation, but I thought Stoops did what he was supposed to do with that roster, and the schedule was to win 9 games.
What you just said a moment ago is only as far as I'm taking it. Stoops deserves to be in the conversation. That's my only point. I'm not voting for him. He wouldn't be in my top 3, top 4. He would not. I'm just saying the point that I was trying to make and making is that there are a lot of coaches who it makes sense for their name to come up in the conversation. Shane Beamer getting to 6 wins is worthy of his name being mentioned in the conversation, in my opinion. Josh Heupel obviously deserves to be mentioned. Lane Kiffin, Kirby Smart,
Nick Saban. We might as well mention everybody then.
It was that type of season in the SEC. A lot of teams overachieved. When you think about it, Sam Pittman, Lane Kiffin, Shane Beamer, Josh Heupel, all those teams overachieved. Mark Stoops met expectations, and I'm sorry, it's as simple as going 9-3 at Kentucky for you to be in the conversation. Yeah. It's that simple for me personally. Yeah. And then you do have the top of Nick Saban and Kirby Smart as well.
Yeah, what Kirby did for the entire season, pretty damn good. Like
I can't get the SEC championship game out of my mind.
I understand.
It erases all the goodwill that they built up during the season. Like, even though, like I said earlier, and you talked about it as well, Alabama didn't meet the eye test at times this season. Georgia looking the way that it did in the SEC championship game puts the thought in my head that I'm going to give more credence to what Alabama did, even despite not looking great at times, because they were in the West, and I almost think now that Georgia just took advantage of a down SEC East.
What makes me give Kirby the edge here over Nick is the Texas A&M game for Alabama. Like, A&M had a backup quarterback, and you look at A&M this season and how they have played before and after Alabama game. You're like, how'd you lose to Texas A&M? So yeah, Georgia lost to Alabama for the first loss, but Alabama's only loss was to Texas A&M, who lost to LSU, a team that at times looked like they checked out. So who's the better coach, Nick or Kirby? Well, it's Nick, no doubt about it. And who outcoached who in the SEC championship game? Well, it's Nick outcoached Kirby. But for me, the award is about a body of work from the start of the season to the end of the regular season. And for me, Kirby was freaking dominant. As much as I hate to say it.
He was. It's just it's all about what you value in this conversation.
Yeah.
Do you value the dominant team that technically did what it was supposed to do, or do you value the coach that overachieved?
Yeah.
It's all about what you value.
I mean, the coach that probably overachieved the most in the SEC would be Tennessee.
It would be Josh Heupel or Sam Pittman.
Yeah, I mean, well, Sam was in his second season.
I know, but I still think back to them losing however many games in a row that they did when he took over.
I mean, Sam Pittman.
And it'd been like 18, 19 straight SEC losses.
Yeah, but that like.
And they went 8-4 in a tougher division. Won all 3 rivalry games. Got all 3 rivalry trophies.
But they did that last year. I felt like they exceeded expectations last year in Sam Pittman's first year when they, curb stomped us, and when they competed in Sam Pittman's first year. I wasn't necessarily thrown off with, and surprised that much about what he did this year as I was last year when they took it to us in the second half. Pruitt's third season versus Sam Pittman's first season, coaching a program that had not won an SEC conference game in years. So, like, Sam Pittman last year shocked me more than Sam Pittman this year. Second year into the system for these offensive guys. You got NFL dudes and Traylon Burks. You got a quarterback that's pretty damn good too. I just wasn't as surprised. Heupel, first year, and to do what he did in his first year is a little more impressive to me than what Sam Pittman did in his second season. Not saying that Heupel's better than Pittman. Pittman is better than Heupel. Not going there. I'm just saying, like, what is more impressive to me, Heupel's first season or Sam Pittman's second season? To me, it's Heupel's first season, just taking the records and putting it to the side, just understanding what Heupel had to deal with when he took over the job. Pittman didn't have to deal with that stuff in the second season.
You want a hot take?
Please.
I don't think it's that hot of a take.
The hottest McKee.
But I think I'm saying it's going to be a hot take because I think you're going to strongly disagree with me. I think Kirby Smart's coaching job this year was the 5th best in the SEC.
Okay.
Based off of kind of what he had to work with, I think Nick Saban's coaching job this year was more impressive, just based off of what all Saban lost and then going on to win the SEC championship game and knocking off number 1 in the game when everybody thought they were going to get beat down.
Saban loses players every year, though.
I know, but he's taking a redshirt freshman after losing Mac freaking Jones and is winning the Heisman.
Okay.
I think Nick Saban's coaching job this year was more impressive than Kirby Smart's.
Okay.
Sam Pittman, he did more with less. Kirby underachieved as of right now. He did. Did he not? It was
Pittman.
SEC championship or bust, and in the biggest game of the year, after playing one of the easiest schedules on the planet, Clemson was their best win. Clemson and Kentucky and Tennessee.
Kentucky was their best win.
Oh, and you just crapped on Kentucky like 5 minutes ago when I brought Mark Stoops up.
I understand.
So if they play in the West, like, I don't think Georgia goes unscathed. Like, I truly believe that. So I think Sam Pittman's coaching job was better, and I think Josh Heupel's coaching job was better. I think Lane Kiffin's coaching job was better. Nick Saban, Josh Heupel, Sam Pittman, Lane Kiffin. I think all four of those coaches did more with what they have than with what Kirby did with what he has. And I realize that Kirby is in the college football playoffs, and I mean there's still a good chance that they win the national championship. And if that's the case, then I will be completely wrong on this take. But that game on Saturday, that performance on Saturday, just completely flipped my opinion on this Georgia team and Kirby Smart for this year.
I mean, to take a team and have a defense go out and not allow more than 17 points until December, whew, that's pretty damn impressive.
I know.
That's pretty impressive to me, man.
It
Just
is.
the sheer dominance from the start of the season all the way up until the first week of December. That's pretty impressive. Listen, I'm not gonna get into the debate about you about which job was more impressive. All I'm saying is, because I don't really want to defend Kirby here. I really don't want to. I don't want to, Ben. I'm not gonna let you force me to defend Kirby. I'm not doing it. I'm not defending Kirby.
No, well, I'm making you defend Kirby because you've made me stick up for Kentucky and Mark Stoops. I'm gonna make you stick up for Kirby because you made me stick up for Stoops. And honestly, I dislike Mark Stoops in Kentucky more than I dislike Georgia right now at this present time.
You should, because
just
Kentucky
because of slick little comments, and so on and so forth.
Hates Tennessee with a passion. Now Georgia did set us up for the NCAA.
They did
hammer,
which
they did do
that bugs me more than the little comments here and there.
Golly, man. 865-255-03. But all those coaches did a really good job.
Who was the worst SEC coach of the year?
The coach that didn't win a game. Or
I think it was Dan Mullen had the worst coaching job, and this is from Green Axe. Maybe more fun to talk about the worst coach, Mullen or Clark Lee. The worst coaching job was Dan Mullen.
It's Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
To lose control, to get beat down the way you did against South Carolina, a team that Tennessee absolutely took behind the woodshed and the game was over before halftime. Missouri, losing to Missouri the way you did. Dan Mullen gets the worst coaching job award. Hands down. I like this conversation a whole lot better. 865-255-03. Be right back.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain Event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Let's get to David in Louisville here on the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Our number 2 is brought to you by Action 247, Tennessee's only legal sports book. Use the promo code Swain Event for 100% match on your first deposit, up to $400 for new customers only. Hold on, Ben. I think we have a little special going on.
Oh, I like specials.
You like specials?
I love specials, especially this time of year.
From now until the Super Bowl, Action 247 is upping your deposit bonus to $800. $800. This is in place of the previous $400 deposit match. So when you use the promo code Swain Event to make your first deposit, Action 247 at TN Action 247 on Twitter, they will double your money up to $800. $800. That is big time. That is big time. Let's get to the phones. Let's get to David in Louisville. David, good morning.
Good morning, guys. What's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, living the dream. Glad to be here today. Hey, when did that promo code go into effect, Swain? Because we might have to talk off. I just put in my 400. So
we've been rocking the promo code, the new one.
Yeah, the new one you just told me while I was on hold, because I'm short 400 now on my balance.
I got the notice about that yesterday.
See, and now okay. All right,
so when did you
that's
throw
fine.
it in there? Yesterday?
Yeah, early yesterday.
Okay, well, let's talk off air.
That sounds good. No, just a couple things. So, again, y'all are splitting hairs, going back and forth. I agree with you. I think it's subjective. It depends on who's voting. It depends on what body of work you're looking at, what your expectations were, blah, blah, blah. Alabama's supposed to go 11-1, 12-0. Georgia's supposed to go 11-1, 12-0. They're both supposed to go to Atlanta and play each other, and they did. So they met expectations. So, in my opinion, Mark Stoops was supposed to go 9-3 this year, and he did. Lane Kiffin wasn't supposed to go 10-2, though, with the worst defense statistically, I think, like ever in college football the year before.
Yep.
I just, in my opinion, if I had a vote, I would say, okay, yeah, look at Georgia's roster, and I know recruiting's part of it. Look at Alabama's roster. Look what the preseason expectations were. They met, they played. They both have identical records. Lane Kiffin was 10-2. He didn't get to go to Atlanta. He wasn't expected to, but he also was not expected to win 10 games. So the turnaround, I think what he's done in Oxford, to me, is the best coaching job in the conference, and that's just my 2 cents on it. What Josh Heupel did is amazing, but you can't deny a coach winning 10 games in Oxford in year 2. I mean, that's crazy.
Making history.
Yeah. And then 2 other points real quick. Wouldn't it be a beautiful thing if somehow Cincinnati beat Alabama and Michigan somehow beat Georgia, and we had a Cincinnati-Michigan national championship game, and Georgia and Alabama have to sit at home and watch the Big Ten and the AAC play?
That'd be great. Last year with COVID was the worst year ever. This year would be the best year ever if Cincinnati and Michigan play in the national championship. That would be amazing. That would be great for SEC fans. Yes.
That'd be beautiful. That'd be a beautiful thing to see. And then the last point, and I'll get off here, because you mentioned it. Nothing grinds my gears more than watching one of the worst coaching jobs ever at probably the University of Florida. And this clown, Cousin Eddie, gets $6 million within the first 30 days of him getting canned and $1 million for the next 6. So you get paid to suck is what you're telling me, right, as a coach?
Yep. Pretty much.
And then last thing, so I'm getting a bunch, you know I'm at. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, so I'm getting a bunch of this, we just stole your best running back. And I ain't replied to nobody yet because, I ain't got time for all that right now. But, I mean, I just want to tell him, make sure he goes to class. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying. What do I say to these fools that keep texting my phone like we're stealing your recruits, your players now? What do I say to them?
Tennessee's not losing any sleep, and Tennessee is in a position to upgrade. And Tennessee had basically been okay with moving forward from Tyron Evans mid-season. So they might think that Tennessee's over here heartbroken because they, air quotes, stole, our best back. But on the field, he's really good. But it's a lot of stuff that comes with Evans that this coaching staff in year 1 really wasn't trying to deal with. And I hope that Tyon, has learned, how to go about being a student athlete at this level at a big-time program and handles his business off the field. And practices consistently, so that way he can play. This ain't high school where you don't practice but you want to play. That's not the way it works here. I hope that he has learned that lesson in Louisville. And if he does not, then your friends who are texting you now will be like, oh man, I didn't know.
Yeah, I think I'll take the high road. You know that little emoji with the dude with, like, the hands, like, you know, what am I supposed to do? Like, you know, I'm just going to say, you know, good luck to you. We'll be okay. And I'll just take the high road.
We'll
I ain't
be
gonna
okay.
break it all the way down for him. We'll be all right. All right, love you guys, man.
See you,
Have a
man.
good
Much
rest of your
love. Tennessee's in a position to get several running backs, either from the portal, high school, but Tennessee's in a position to take multiple backs. And the one from the portal, Zach Evans, is better than Tyon Evans.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens. You know, there's still work to do to be able to get Zach Evans. It's going to be a battle between Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. Tennessee is in a good spot there. So we'll see.
Rodney was asking earlier in the show about Justin Williams and if Auburn was about to steal him from us because Williams had been trending to Tennessee.
Well, if Auburn fans follow him more than Tennessee fans, then it's going to be an Auburn lock.
So annoying. So annoying. No, I don't think Auburn's going to steal him from us. I remain confident in the position that Tennessee is in with Justin Williams. Swain, what would you do in terms of adding a fifth receiver in this recruiting class? We talked in the opening segment about how I like Tennessee's receivers class. I realize that it's not 4 and 5 stars. It's not Brett Smith, Robert Meacham, and Jason Swain coming in. I get that from a star perspective. But I think they're really intriguing and promising prospects, assuming that Tennessee gets Caleb Webb, which I think Tennessee's in a great position to do so here in the near future. And that begs the question, do you add C.J. Smith if you can, the receiver who decommitted from Florida earlier this week, was on an official visit to Tennessee this past weekend. He is a two-sport athlete. He is also a sprinter who has verified times of 10.28 seconds in the 100 meters and 21.40 seconds in the 200 meters. But he hasn't necessarily been able to stay healthy. So I think that is something that
what are his injuries?
All I'm aware of this past season is that he missed a large portion of his senior season after undergoing surgery to repair a partially torn meniscus. So there is some injury concern, and I don't believe that that's the only injury that he's had to deal with during high school. I just don't know the other ones. I just know of that one. He was in a big old brace when I saw him at the airport over the weekend. But the main question here is he worth taking as a fifth receiver in this recruiting class, assuming that Tennessee does land Caleb Webb, which would make the fourth one? 5 receivers in a recruiting class is a lot, especially when you have needs all over the board.
All right, who's coming back at wide receiver?
I believe Cedric Tillman's coming back.
Tillman.
Jalen Hyatt. Jimmy Callaway. I'd put Jimmy Holiday as a maybe, as a question mark.
You say Callaway coming back?
I think Jimmy Callaway's coming back. I think he has had a realization similar to Jalen Hyatt's over the last couple of weeks of kind of what he needs to do.
I'm putting a question mark.
It's fair to put a question mark, but he's not as big of a question mark to me as a Jimmy Holiday.
Gotcha. I agree.
I know that's splitting hairs, but
no.
I definitely lean towards. I would be honestly somewhat surprised if Callaway entered the portal at this point.
There's no reason for him to enter the portal. He just needs to grow up, and
yes.
Everything he needs to be successful is right here.
And I think he kind of has realized that it's been more about him and not the coaches.
It ain't the coaches.
So which is a good first step to fixing things. You got to recognize your own mistake first. But I think Callaway comes back. I'd put him in that list. Callaway, Hyatt, Tillman. I guess Ramel Keaton's coming back. He counts as a number. And obviously this year proved that he will play. So
that's 5.
Walker Merrill.
Yeah, I got 5 for Walker Merrill.
Anderson Kobe. I think that's it.
This group ain't good enough.
Did you write Jimmy Holiday down?
Holiday? No, I didn't. I didn't think he's going to be here. But you put him down. Still not good enough.
Well, and I said put him in the question mark.
Even if all of them come back, that's still.
How many receivers do you need?
You want to have 10 to 12.
How many do you need that you can count on, and how many do you need in the room?
How many of these guys would you count on?
Huh?
How many of these guys that I mentioned?
Only Tillman?
Right now. So let's say best case scenario, 2 out of the remaining grows, gets better, and now you feel good about 3. That's still not good enough. So let's say nobody transfers, which that's, for me, hard to believe, at wide receiver, but that's still 7. You want between 10 and 12. And I've heard some coaches say they want 12 receivers. You run an offense where you let receivers not even block or do anything sometimes so they can get a little rest. Do you want to continue to do that? Or do you want to have a rotation that's a little bit deeper so that way you keep the defensive players honest and you at least put pressure on the defense players so they don't get a rest too. The cornerback don't get a rest too on a particular play. At least you can sub in a receiver and run him off, put in another receiver, forcing that DB to have to run all the way back and cover a new receiver.
I don't know that Tennessee's going to have that for another 2 years, though.
But I'm saying,
just because of how
you definitely won't if you don't get bring enough guys.
Here's my question though. Like, even though they're adding 4 receivers, potentially a 5th, they're going to be true freshmen. And I mean, I don't think it's very smart to go into the season and thinking just because I'm adding 4 or 5 bodies to the receiver room, like, oh, we're good now. Like,
No.
I'd rather take that 5th spot and go find another Javonte Payton.
Hey, the 5th spot, whether it's high school or the transfer portal, I don't really care. But I think you need to bring in 5 receivers probably. Because this group right here, they just haven't shown me anything to where I should feel confident about them taking the next step outside of Cedric Tillman. When they show that this spring, then I'll have a different opinion. But my opinion right now is this group is not good enough.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think just because you bring in 4 or 5 high school guys that your problem is solved.
No, I'm not saying that. But bringing in 5 is better than bringing in 4 because you have an opportunity to add more competition. You have more options, and especially a guy that's running 10-2. If he is anywhere close to being his old self when he gets healthy, I just think this group is needing some severe help, and maybe it's a transfer portal. I mean, that's the original question, right? Do you go 5 high school receivers or not?
Yes.
I would say no. I would go transfer portal.
I would say yes if they think C.J. Smith is going to be a star. If they really believe in their evaluation and think he's going to be a stud and they can land him, that'd be the only way that I would say yes. If they're hesitant, then I'd go with the 4 high school guys and go get a portal guy.
Here's the only thing, though.
And honestly, I don't even know that I'd try to get a Javonte Payton. I'd try to get a guy with more than just 1 year of eligibility.
But here's the thing, though. You already have 3 receivers committed.
Mm-hmm. Probably about to have a 4th.
Probably going to have a 4th. So when you have that 4th, and the 5th one may be better than one of the 4th that you already have committed, then what you going to do? Because I have questions about how good Nimrod really is. I have questions because
he's probably a developmental guy more so than the others for sure.
Yeah. I mean, 6'3", 180, and he ran in front of the coaches, and they saw his speed, felt comfortable enough with him. But I don't have questions about Squirrel White.
No.
Even though he's a smaller guy, I don't have questions about him. I checked out Cam Miller's game. I don't have questions about him as a football player. I watched Nimrod's game, and the 40 speed is faster than the game speed from watching the film. And so this is what the staff will have to, kind of have to figure out.
And his 40 time wasn't even that great. He said that he believes he was timed at a 4.54 during his workout with Tennessee. So even that 40 speed's not the greatest for a receiver, obviously.
I think I was told his 40 time.
I mean, that was from his mouth.
Yeah, but
not disputing you, obviously.
Yeah, I was told his 40 time from the people that actually timed it, but I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest.
Do you remember your reaction?
Yeah, my reaction was that's good enough to play.
Like,
that's fast enough to play.
And they view him as an outside receiver too.
But that's without pads. And I looked at the game film, and the game film didn't match the 40 speed in shorts. To me,
did you take mental notes of anything in his game on the film aside from speed? I mean, did you like other things that he was doing, or anything else stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, his ball skills. But I always take in consideration like the competition too.
Right.
So like this is like a little Peter and Timmy. They're
like
going up against
me at corner.
Pretty much. And so, and that's how it all looks.
Hey, I have a big wingspan, man.
All right, Kennedy Chandler. But that's how it all looks on highlight films.
Hey, Rick said Kennedy's what was Kennedy like? How tall is Kennedy?
6 foot, but his wingspan is like 6'7".
And Rick said at the press conference the other day that really makes him like 6'5". So if I'm 5'11" and 3/4 and I have a long wingspan, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a long one.
Can you scratch your kneecap standing up?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I guess it's long then.
No, I think I come like just above my kneecaps. But that I'm technically 5'11" and 3/4. So long wingspan makes me what, like 6'2", 6'3"? That's how that works, right?
That's what you want.
But they also don't envision him, Chaz Nimrod, coming in and being Squirrel White or a burner. I mean, he's more of a Cedric Tillman.
But don't you kind of have to have some dudes that will push? Like you need some players that at least going to come in and push.
Oh, I think Chaz Nimrod's going to come in and push those guys that you wrote down.
Ramel Keaton?
Yeah, it's Ramel Keaton, bro.
Anderson Kobe?
It's Anderson Kobe.
All right, we'll see. I don't know.
I
don't know. Like when I watched the film, I didn't.
If he
I didn't have that reaction. I had a reaction of I don't know. Now Squirrel White will be pushing some dudes if he indeed signs. He's a guy that I'm like, all right, y'all don't notice.
Plays a freshman.
Like y'all don't notice this dude plays at Clay Chalkville down in Alabama.
Big time.
They play football down there. They compete down there. There's competition down there. And this dude is a football player. Current receivers. If Squirrel White signs, you are on notice.
Yes, Walker Merrill, Jalen Hyatt.
You are on notice, yeah.
You slot guys.
You are on notice.
If Cody Burns needs to light a fire under any slot receivers this offseason or going into the offseason, just go ahead and put on that tape of Squirrel White.
Mm-hmm.
Sit him down and show him the tape of Squirrel White.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is coming. So we'll see about Chaz Nimrod. I don't have a strong take either way. I just find it hard to believe that there's some guys in that room that no longer need to be at Tennessee. And it's hard not to believe that guys coming in wouldn't pass them up.
If you're going to have this offense, you better have some dudes at receiver. That's all I'm saying. You better have some dudes.
I get it.
Because the reason why Tennessee was able to do what we were able to do this season and exceed these expectations, you had 3 veteran receivers.
But even that
played their best year of their career.
Right.
All 3 of these guys had the best year of their career, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it took for us to be dynamic on offense. 3 receivers had the best year of their careers.
And even then, I mean, they weren't rotating guys in and out. I mean, it was just those 3. Just those 3, unless somebody got hurt.
And
the only time
Ramel
what's that?
And then 2 of those guys will be gone.
Yes. The only time Ramel Keaton or Jalen Hyatt came in was when Javonte Payton got hurt.
Yeah, yeah. Or when the other guys needed a blow because Bayless was doing special teams duties as well.
Yes, or when Tillman got blown up a couple times and needed a play or two off.
Yeah, that's true too. He hurt his hand or wrist or something in the Ole Miss game. So this group, along with other groups, needs a lot of attention. But if your bread and butter is going to be on explosive plays down the football field, you better have some guys who are explosive play able. And, I think Jalen Hyatt is going to have a nice offseason. The clock is ticking there. I think he was humbled this season. Hopefully Jimmy Callaway was humbled. At least he should have been. He hasn't played a significant role since Florida. That he was humbled. And, he takes coaching, and he understands what he has to do to be a productive student athlete, and all the resources and the opportunities that he has on the field and off the field. I hope he takes that serious and listens to the people around him. And I hope there's people around him that he can talk to. I really do, that he trusts. They can give him that raw, productive advice that these players need, not just at Tennessee, but across the country. There's a perception and then there's a reality. That some of these dudes think that you can carry yourself a certain type of way and you just gonna go to the league. Nah. Nah. Like some of these high school players think that, oh yeah, I'm about to get these offers. Yeah, I'm about to play SEC. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. Nah. It don't work that way. You need real people in your corner giving you the hardcore truth so you don't walk around here looking like Boo-Boo the Fool when you get hit in the face with reality. That's what people need. And we don't have enough of that.
No.
We got too many yes men, got too many unqualified people in these players' corners telling them stuff that's not true and telling them stuff that is only hurting their progression. That's what we got going on. A lot more than ever before.
So should Tennessee take 5 high school receivers? I say yes if they 1,000% believe in C.J. Smith.
Well, if you don't have any success in the portal, I think you gotta get in the portal. Man.
I prefer the 4 high school guys that it looks like they're going to sign plus a portal receiver, if not 2. Here's the problem: is like we just had a 10-minute, 15-minute conversation about needs at receiver, and for me, receiver's not at the top of the list on the roster of positions that need the most help. Defensive line, linebackers, defensive backs, all ahead of receiver. 1,000% believe that.
I don't think defensive back is ahead of receiver.
Tennessee needs a safety. I would rather add a stud safety than a stud receiver, because at least you already have a stud receiver.
Yeah, but
I know it's not that simple.
You just got one.
I know, but I'd rather have one than none. And right now there ain't none in the secondary.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
And I just don't like Tennessee's safety situation. You're replacing Alante as well, which is why they've gone out and gotten 2 JUCO DBs now. Desmond Williams, and I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. It's that time of year where there's so many. No, I'm not forgetting anybody. I was thinking of Jordan Thomas and Christian Harrison, but there are other JUCO DBs that Tennessee is after. Keontae Scott, who is a stud. Everybody in the country is trying to get him. Marcus Gilbert. He is a JUCO safety that Tennessee really likes, but seems like he's trending towards Auburn. He's the number 1 JUCO safety in the country.
I think you need a game-ready, environment-ready, big stage-ready receiver from the portal. Like, not one that's like, oh, man, I got to get used to this big stage. I got to get used to catching the crossing pattern against Florida at the Swamp on 3rd down. That moment was too big for a young player in Jimmy Callaway. Like you got to go get you a Valus. You got to go get you a Javonte Payton.
I completely agree with you. I just still think that each level of the defense is a bigger need right now.
I'm saying that portal guy has to be one of the 5, not taking 5 high school players and then taking a 6th receiver from portal. I mean, I think the portal receiver needs to be one of the 5, which means somebody got to go. That's what it means.
It's not going to be Chaz Nimrod.
Well, I guess you're just not going to sign Smith then. You're not going to bring him in because he didn't get in the boat early as the other guys.
Unless Squirrel goes elsewhere.
Squirrel might go somewhere else.
And it's not like do we take C.J. Smith or not? I mean, Tennessee still has to go and be the school that he wants to come to. I mean, he still has visits to Georgia and A&M potentially scheduled. So it's not even oh, yeah, C.J. Smith wants to come. Should we take him? Like, do we take him, and how do we get him to Tennessee is the question.
Well, what if Squirrel wants to stay and everybody stays? Then what do you do with Smith?
You say no. I don't think that they're making as many in-home visits to see Chaz Nimrod. I mean, they've already done like 2 or 3 with him. They were back to see him last night too. So, I mean, I think that's pretty indicative of how they feel about him.
Hey, man, you never know what might happen. You recruit everybody, whether they committed or uncommitted or even committed to other schools. The same way, because you never know. This is why I'm looking forward to next Wednesday. See what happens, what shakes out.
Maybe you know something that I don't.
Maybe you do. You just ain't using your damn brain.
Well, I just
maybe you ain't using your brain. Maybe you ain't thinking. Maybe you got your mind on the Steelers game tonight.
I haven't thought about it since hour 1.
There are players that Tennessee is that they're recruiting that's committed to somewhere else that they currently have commitments for in that same position, but you continue to recruit all of the players the same, which is hard.
Yes.
As if you want them, because you never know what's going to shake out next Wednesday. That's my point.
Well, I'm glad that we agree on the 5th receiver needs to be a transfer receiver.
No, we agree there. I want experience. I want experience.
Oh, I'm with you. Look, I do not feel good at all about Cedric Tillman being the only guy returning that you can count on. Because there's no, you and I both think that Squirrel White's going to come in and push for playing time right away.
If he comes.
There's no guarantee that he will, though, in terms of competing for early playing. That you just don't know how kids are going to react once they finally get to campus.
I saw that film.
I've seen it, too. And
I
don't know receiver play like you do, but it don't take a genius to figure out he's a baller.
Squirrel White highlight film. There's not one person in our group right now that's coming back that can do what Squirrel White is doing on his highlight
are
film.
you willing to guarantee that if he signs with Tennessee that he will play significantly as a true freshman?
I'm saying.
Nope. Are you willing to guarantee?
I'm saying.
Are you willing to
There's not
guarantee?
one person in this group of receivers we just named that's coming back next year that can do what Squirrel White can do.
I agree. But are you willing to guarantee that Squirrel White will play significantly as a freshman?
That depends on how smart he is as a football player. That depends on how he takes care of business and stuff like that.
So, no. The answer
I'm not willing to guarantee anything.
Exactly. And that's my point. You just don't know. So, I absolutely think
just like you don't know about Jimmy Callaway and what he's going to do during all season.
Correct. You don't know how Jalen Hyatt's going to do. You don't know how any of these guys that need to take a step are going to react this all season. It's easy to talk the talk in December going into a bowl game that, oh, yeah, I need to fix this, need to fix that. Are you actually going to do it this off season?
Physically, there's not anybody that can do what Squirrel White can do, is what I'm saying. All right, let's get to the phones before we get to break. So who we got there?
I didn't check the name because we were going back and forth.
Let's go. Let's find out.
Good morning.
Let's open up this Christmas present. Who we have?
It's Justin in Florida.
Justin in Florida. That's a nice Christmas present. Nice surprise.
Debatable. He's a Red Sox fan.
Good morning, Justin.
Swain, do me a favor. actually, never mind. I was going to say slap him upside the back of the head, but I'm sure whoever the Steelers are playing tonight are going to handle that for me.
Yeah, the team that beat the Lions last week or lost to the Lions.
Patriots ain't losing.
Okay, we'll see how tonight goes.
No, I 1,000% expect the Steelers to lose because that's the type of things that happen to the Steelers.
Now you playing that angle.
They can lose to anybody. They can beat anybody.
Well, Ben, as painful as it is to agree with you, I definitely agree that defensive line is probably number one on the concern list right now. But I definitely am going to throw the wide receiver group in behind that, and here's why: is who is going to be on the outside next year opposite of Tillman. Now, I think if you look at the wide receiver room, we've got slot receivers for days. But who is going to be that outside presence? And I agree with you that you can't rely on high school kids to step in and do it. If they're able to, that's fantastic. That's great. But you can't, assume that big of a jump, number one. So I agree with you, Swain. I think you've got to find at least one guy who can play on the outside opposite Tillman, because I don't think there's a guarantee. I think it's highly likely Tillman comes back, but there's no guarantee, number one. Number two, God forbid if there was ever an injury and he was not available, who steps into that spot? I think from an outside receiver standpoint, we are really, 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 really thin. And I'd love to hear your all's thoughts on that.
We are thin. Yeah, that's been kind of the conversation as we're listing guys that we expect to return. And that group is, for us to do what we want to do with this offense, it's not good enough. It'd be one thing if we had like a 2007 team. I mean, in 2017, the leading receiver was Lucas Taylor. He had 1,000 yards. And you had a bunch of guys that you had like a young Gerald Jones. You had Josh Briscoe and Austin Rogers, and I mean, you didn't have a group of receivers that Tennessee had last year, but you still were able to go to the SEC championship game against LSU in 2007. Like, I don't think you can have that type of group in Josh Heupel's offense and do what you want to do as far as putting up points and being explosive. You need more at wide receiver.
The reality of the situation is that every position on the team, outside of quarterback, assuming Hendon returns, outside of quarterback, kicker, and punter, every single position needs help.
Yeah, and it's put pressure, and I'm pointing the finger at Hyatt to step up. I'm pointing the finger at Callaway to step up. These are two guys that have been here multiple years. Here's an opportunity for Walker Merrill, who's going to be entering his second season.
Think he has a chance to be a playmaker?
I think he's good. I think he's a nice route runner. I think he has a chance to be really good. But I'm looking at you, Jalen Hyatt, and I'm looking at you, Jimmy Callaway. It's time for y'all to grow up.
Y'all can be two of the best receivers in the SEC.
Yeah, it's time for y'all to grow up and get to work and fill those two roles that are being left by Velus Jones and Javonte Payton. Like, y'all can be that. But it's really about you guys and the mentality that you take this offseason. It's there for the taking for Hyatt and Callaway. Hour 3, Swain Event, is coming up. Stay with us.
Part 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. Hey, it's Men's Health Month, so make sure to get all your levels tested with a comprehensive annual health assessment at Low T Center. They exclusively specialize in men's wellness. Low T Center now offers monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for just $155 a month, self-pay, or is covered by most health insurance. And they ship directly to your home. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the MN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hour 3 powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Statement from associate head coach Tasha Butts, former Lady Vol basketball player. Currently at Georgia Tech, was previously at LSU. In a statement from Tasha Butts, she says, in November I was diagnosed with an advanced stage of breast cancer. While I am still processing this life-changing diagnosis and learning how to deal with it day to day, I have full confidence in my team of doctors with the treatment plan that I have put forth, and I have already begun. The tremendous amount of support I have received from my family, close friends, and Georgia Tech family has made these past few weeks a little more bearable and easier. This has not been an easy discovery. At age 39, I never thought I'll be sitting here dealing with this disease. But I have full confidence in my doctors, my faith, and who I am and who I was taught to be, which is a fighter. I want to and hope to be an example and inspiration for others who may be experiencing the same thing. Through my process, I've learned that the early detection is the best possible approach. I strongly encourage everyone to be fully aware of any symptoms or red flags they may experience and go see a doctor. Early detection can offer someone peace of mind, such a life-changing event. This is a life-changing experience for me. The number one priority for me right now is to take care of myself through treatment and surround myself with people that will take care of me to the same degree. I have an incredible support system at Georgia Tech that I am grateful for. While undergoing treatment, I will be here at Georgia Tech and in full support of our program as I can be. I am blessed to be surrounded by a Georgia Tech community that fully supports me, and I am grateful to have them on this journey. So, Lady Vol, Tasha Butts, diagnosed with advanced stage of breast cancer, and this one hits different because I look at Tasha like a big sister. I was a freshman when she was a senior, and when LSU came into town a couple of years ago, Tasha is the reason why we were, brought in, and my daughter, and we got a chance to kind of view the LSU warm-ups, and Ariana was right there. My oldest daughter was right there in the player circle with them when Nikki Farkas was the coach. And they hooked my daughter up with T-shirt, poster, and even to this day, like, my daughter still knows the players on the team, LSU, and keeps up with those players because of the experience that they, gave my oldest. This is tough. Yeah, this is tough. I hadn't even told my daughter yet because I didn't want to tell her before school. But it's gonna be tough when she does find out because, she looks at Tasha like auntie, and I know Tasha was in pursuit of being a head coach, and that was something that she was really close to being. Man, this one hits. This one hits, and so we just lift her up in prayer. We just send her positive vibes and thoughts, and there's a lot of people right here in Tennessee just thinking about you, Tasha, that love you and here for you. And cancer sucks. We've all lost someone to cancer, or known someone that's battled this ugly disease, and we know the attention that's being brought to cancer, especially right now in college basketball with Dickie V Foundation and the tournament that Tennessee just played in up in New York for raising money for cancer research. We've seen cancer doesn't discriminate color, gender, what you believe in, your faith. Doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't care. I've lost a really close family member in the last 2 years to stomach cancer, and it came and went like a thief in the night. And it's tough. So we just love you, Tasha, and I haven't reached out yet. I will when it's appropriate. I just feel like right now, man, she is man, this is I wasn't expecting this one at all. But just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of one of our own is in a battle and needs us. So 865-255-03. Last break we were talking about recruiting and the receiver position, so I want to go back to the text box. Vol from Charlotte says, thank you so much for informing me on recruiting. I used to be a stargazer, but now I look at film. We have a skilled class this far. Very excited. Yeah, happy to help and provide some insight there. I think you do yourself a favor when you go and watch players' film and go and look at Squirrel White's film, like RT Vol, who said, got a chance to watch Squirrel White's film. Elite feet separation isn't all about strength. Yeah. Quick feet eats. You don't have feet, man, you will not create separation. And that's what it's all about. The strength is important, being able to fight through, contested throws, contested catches. That's super important. Speed is super important when you're able to create separation on vertical routes. But the ability to stop, change direction, use someone else's momentum against them, ain't nothing like it. And you ain't got to be the biggest dude or the fastest guy on the field to create separation. And Squirrel White has elite feet. And we don't have anybody on our squad that has feet like Squirrel White. And that's what I meant last segment when I was talking about that. Nelson from Jackson says, linebacker is the number one need, especially since we are expecting Mitchell to not be here. Banks never came off the field. Hey, we got work to do when it's a legitimate debate of which position group is the number one need between defensive line and linebacker. I'll always look at defensive line in this conference as being a slight favorite over linebacker. Like, even if the numbers are equal, like, all right, man, you got 4 vacancies, both group. I'm always gonna go defensive line because without defensive line, you ain't getting any pressure without blitzing.
You're not winning in the SEC.
You're not winning, period. And you look at the receivers this past season and how I mentioned they had their career years for Tennessee to do what they did on offense. Well, Tennessee's defensive line, we had a bunch of dudes that had their career years as well. Career years.
Matthew Butler, Jaquan Blakely, Amari Thomas really started to develop into a real playmaker. I'm excited about him next year.
So it starts up front. I'm always going to look at defensive line as more important than linebacker when the numbers are equal. But, yeah, we definitely need linebacker as well.
Yeah, I'm still sticking to my opinion of the entire defense. Every single
that's safe.
We need
that's safe.
A pass rusher. We need I think it would be really beneficial to go out and try to find the correct Juwan Mitchell this offseason to push Jeremy Banks and Aaron Beasley. I think you need to go get a corner. I think you need to go get a safety. Heck, I think you need 2 edge rushers, quite frankly. I don't know. What do you think about edge rusher and maybe, I mean, do you think 1 sufficient? Because you got Byron Young on one side. Tyler Barron, Roman Harrison. I personally don't think that they're where I thought they would be at this point in their career. I thought that they would be further along. Like, the way I view them, like, I go into next season knowing that I can count on Byron Young. You can pencil him in. He is going to be productive next season. I can't do that with Roman Harrison or Tyler Barron at this moment in time.
That's fair.
So I would go at least get 1 edge rusher and somebody that can push them, and then maybe a interior defensive lineman like a Caleb Tremblay that can help replace Matthew Butler and Jaquan Blakely.
Yep. Jason from the Borough asked if we forgot about linebacker. No, we didn't forget about linebacker.
I just said linebacker.
Yeah, linebackers. Did we forget about inside linebackers? Nope. Ain't forget about linebackers. This is not a conversation of, this group is definitely the biggest need because we're just good at this group. No, it's a conversation about, like you just said, Ben, the entire defense needs help. But you have 0 shot in this conference if you don't have a defensive line. 0, because it starts up front. Period.
Stopping the run, helping the defensive backs in coverage by getting pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, it starts up front. Starts up front.
And like, I think Tennessee has addressed those positions that I just mentioned on defense. I think that they have addressed them well in this recruiting class with guys that can develop into really good players here. But the problem with being stuck in a situation to where you have to go get developmental players because of the NCAA investigation and everything that we've detailed for months now is that they're more than likely not going to be ready to play from day one. Like Jordan Thomas, Christian Harrison. I like those pickups. Christian Harrison at corner, Jordan Thomas at safety. But to do what you did this year, next year, or even be a little better next year, you need guys that can bridge the gap until Christian Harrison, Jordan Thomas are ready to be really productive players at this level. Morvan Joseph's off the edge. Darren Agu, if you were able to flip him from Vanderbilt. James Pierce, if he is academically okay to sign during the early signing period. Like, those are really intriguing prospects, but you need somebody that can bridge the gap. And I mean, even right now, you don't really have any inside backers coming in. You've got Elijah Herring, but they view him more as an edge guy. Caleb Perry, the 3-star from Kentucky, he's very athletic, very versatile, capable of lining up at multiple spots at linebacker. He kind of reminds me of a quicker Aaron Beasley, 6'4", 215. So I don't really know what Tennessee has planned for him, whether they view him as another edge guy or whatnot. But they don't have a bona fide inside linebacker coming in. Even the defensive lineman, Jordan Phillips, like they They have intriguing prospects at positions of needs coming in, but you can't count on them to play from day one. You just can't. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Basketball, you can go sign somebody that can come in and play right away. Kennedy Chandler and Zakai Ziegler are immediately fixing Tennessee's point guard issues or lack of true point guard that it had last season. Tennessee's unfortunately not in a position from a football standpoint to go out and recruit instant impact guys right now. But that's what the portal's for.
Jordan says Walker Merrill is going to take off next season. I like Walker Merrill a lot. I wouldn't be surprised. Big Ben said he caught the tail end of the Squirrel White conversation. Why are we wondering if he may come now? Is he not solid? That's because Georgia and Alabama recruited him. So there's a possibility that he may not be in this class. But, Georgia like him. Alabama likes him. ATL VFL says we need a Waddell Robinson type transfer. I agree.
That would be ideal to go out and get a first, second round receiver.
I know, right? How many players total need to be added? Need to be or can be?
About 40. They can obviously sign the 25, and then this new transfer rule kind of confuses me in terms of how many transfers you can add that won't count against your signing class. It's up to 7. So as long as Tennessee has 7 guys to transfer out, they can go get 7 transfers from the portal and add to this class on top of the 25 that they sign. And right now you've got Harrison Bailey, Brian Maurer, Tyon Evans, T. Hodge, Carlin Fields and me, Morven Joseph. That's 3, 5, 6. But I also I'm not 100% sure. Like T. Hodge, Brian Maurer, Harrison Bailey, Morven Joseph, they all announced that they were entering the portal. Tyon Evans as well, all announced that they were entering the portal during the season. I don't know if that counts towards that 7 that you can go sign. Is it 7 transfers after the season that you can go replace, or are you also allowed to replace the transfers that transfer within the season?
Yep.
That's a little murky to me.
Yeah, the proposal before it was ultimately passed was put in place that will allow programs to sign up to 7 additional players in a class to replace up to 7 transfers. So, but that's a good question for you, man. In season, out of season, how does that work?
I think that's the one thing I hate most about my job is the numbers. The number situation. How many is Tennessee going to sign? How many can Tennessee sign? What's the deal with the new transfer rule? How many extra guys can sign based off of this, based off of that? I think that's the one question that I just do not like to deal with. And it's a fair question. There's so many different quirks and rules and a lot to keep up with. Hard to keep sorted out.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. Maybe just ask Austin, man. Austin has all the answers when it comes to that stuff.
Austin knows all.
He knows it all, man. 865-255-03. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Stay with us.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Good morning, Swain Event crew. Fall is here, and according to the big box stores, it's Christmas time too. This time of year is traditionally a busy one for the East Tennessee real estate market, and it will continue through the end of 2021 as well. Most people think the holidays aren't the right time to buy and sell. However, it is one of the best times to jump in the market. To find out more, just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, at 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty.
They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Don't remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy. Attaboy is brought to you by Made in Tennessee Business Fiber Internet from Iris Networks. Find business solutions for you at irisnetworksusa.com.
networks, IrishNetworksUSA.com. High quality, reliable fiber internet and voice. 90 days, no payment for business internet. Brings us Attaboy here on the program. We'll highlight positivity, giving people a nice pat on the backside for their good work. Who gets that pat on the backside today?
Velus Jones. We talked about it earlier in the show during Around the SEC. But yesterday, Velus Jones was named the SEC Co-Special Teams Player of the Year. Jones is the second UT player to be named SEC Special Teams Player of the Year in program history, joining Evan Berry, who won it in 2015. Jones, who shared this year's award with Alabama's Jamison Williams, was named to the coach's All-SEC First Team as an all-purpose player and a return specialist on Tuesday. He is just the second Vol to earn All-SEC First Team accolades since 2016, joining Trey Smith, who won All-SEC First Team accolades in 2019 and 2020. Velus Jones was one of Tennessee's top weapons this season. Swain mentioned this earlier, but Velus was the only player in the country with 700-plus receiving yards, 500-plus kickoff return yards, and 200-plus punt return yards. He ranks third in the SEC in all-purpose yards, averaging 126.3 yards per game. He led the SEC in punt return average at 16 yards per punt return.
Let's go.
And ranks second in kickoff return average at 28.1 yards. His 2,851 career kickoff return yards leads all active FBS players. He was named the Co-Special Teams Player of the Week after recording his second kickoff return for a touchdown in Tennessee's win over South Alabama. And then a week later, he returned a punt return for a touchdown against Vanderbilt. Was also named the Senior Bowl All-American on Wednesday as well as a punt returner. So, attaboy to Velus Jones. He had a tremendous season. I can't wait to see what he does at the next level.
Yeah, big Velus Jones fan, man. Big fan. Remember I told y'all last year, I was like, why he not getting the ball more? It was a mystery to me. Why is he not getting the ball more? He's Tennessee's best receiver. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And then it took this staff a little bit to figure that out too. Took him a little bit. They didn't feature him the way they featured
first month
him.
of the year.
No, they didn't.
And shout out to Alex Golesh, because he practically admitted that. He said, I can't remember when he said it. I think it was in November, maybe end of October. I can't remember. But he said that it took them a little longer than he would have liked to settle on the personnel, the starters that they could rely on.
Yep, he did say that. And that when he said that, that was all you need to know about some of those young receivers and young players that were playing early but stopped playing, that they just couldn't be counted on right now. But
I thought of Joe Milton when he said that. I thought of Jimmy Callaway, Jalen Hyatt, and Velus Jones when he said that.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything else on offense was – I mean, those were only really the changes from preseason.
And that's normal too, because you have a new staff that's inheriting new players. And yes, you can try to create game situations in practice, but they still ain't the game. And you went with who you saw that was most consistent in practice, and they didn't do that during the game. Multiple times. You gave them a chance after they didn't do it one time, and then you give them another chance, and they didn't step up. You got to move on. You got to go somewhere else. So that's what they did. But listen, man, I could have told you about Velus Jones. I've been saying Velus Jones for over a year now, that he was Tennessee's best playmaker.
Who is the better receiver entering the league, Cedric Tillman or Velus Jones?
I think Velus has a chance to be used like Cooper Kupp and be very, very productive. I think Velus could be more productive than Tillman. because for Tillman to be successful, he got to be like a Devontae Adams, play on the outside. And can he play on the outside consistently? I don't know. But I see Tillman being like a Juwan Jennings when he gets there.
How difficult will it be for Cedric to prove that he can run all the routes that an outside receiver in the NFL does when he doesn't necessarily do that at Tennessee?
It won't be difficult, because if you can run fast as you can, be able to stop on a dime and cut at 45 degrees in either direction, you should be able to run any route.
So that's the basic.
Yeah, man. Get the cones. Mm-hmm. Get on the cones. Change directions on the cones. And if you could do that, then you should be able to run any route on the route tree. That's what it's about. We know that like this offense didn't do a lot of that. There's a lot of vertical routes, which hey, it's cool. But as long as either Cody Burns or you doing it yourself, which you should be doing it yourself too, get on the cones. And this is a drill that's old as dirt, that still will help you be able to change directions, and that is a 4-cone drill, and you put the fifth one in the middle, and you go M drill, you go W drill, you go box drill, you change directions. You go 45-degree angle on each side, each direction, and it is the mother of all receiver drills. That will help you get your hips down. That will help you be able to change directions, get in and out of your breaks as quick as possible. That's a drill that when I'm training a receiver, that we do that every day. And we do it every day before you even touch the ball. When I used to evaluate receivers all across the country, we did that drill before any balls came out of the bag, because the message was sent to them that you don't get the ball until you earn the ball. You earn the ball by getting open. That's how you earn the ball. If you're out here slipping and sliding and falling, you don't deserve the ball, and you won't get the ball. The ball won't come your way if you slip and fall on the route, especially if it creates an interception. So, to answer your question, yes, Ben, I think Cedric Tillman can develop that part of his game and show the NFL scouts that he can run routes, because he is going to put that work in during the summer. I have no doubt about that.
Do you think he has that skill set right now, and it just needs to be refined?
Yep.
Like you see the stopping on the dime.
Yep.
And
I see his ability to run routes right now. I want to say it was the Ole Miss game where it was third down and some change, or second down some change. I'm not sure the down distance. But he was the only receiver. It was a heavy run formation, and they went curl with him. And he created great separation versus a DB that's faster than him. He had about 2 or 3 yard separation. He caught it. And you know when Cedric Tillman catches a curl or any type of route on the outside, he's going to stiff arm a DB. He did that, made a move, picked up extra 2 or 3 yards. I saw that route in person. He could run the curl routes. He can run the dig routes. It's whether or not they ask him to do it more and more and more and put it on film. But when scouts come to Knoxville, they'll see him do that in practice. They'll see his ability to be able to stop, change directions, running routes. They may not see it in the game, but they'll see it then. And then when he does his combine, when he does his pro day, they're going to make him do them. He's going to have to run a full route tree during combine and pro day. So he'll have plenty of opportunities to show that he can do it, or if he can't do it. I happen to think that he will be able to do it.
Would you consider him a good route runner right now?
I would consider him one of the best route runners that we have, and I would consider him a good route runner that could improve.
Do you think Javonte Payton is an NFL receiver? Nelson from Jackson asks this on the text box.
I think Javonte Payton is an NFL receiver, but he has to be able to run routes, and he has to be able to make tougher catches in traffic.
To my untrained eye, who knows very little about the receiver position, it seems like he is a one-trick pony.
He has to prove that he's more complete.
Do you see those traits of being a good route runner in him?
If he puts the work in, if he puts the work in, sometimes you just don't. You know what you don't know. So, I think it really depends on who he trains with, where he trains during his pre, draft training. Some guys go out to Arizona. Some guys go to Atlanta. I've seen Houston. It's going to be really, really important that Javonte gets with the right group of people that trains him, because straight on speed is not a question for Javonte. The question is his ability to change directions and making tough catches in traffic and things like that. So I think anytime you have that speed, that 4.4 speed, you have a chance. But now you have to show the other parts of your game, and that's what Javonte is going to have to do. Not a lot of numbers. I mean, not a lot of numbers at
a lot of
Tennessee.
touchdowns, not a lot of receptions.
Yeah, not a lot of numbers. I mean, in the touchdowns, NFL personnel was okay. Well, those were plays that were designed. How many plays
did he make, like on him just being a really good receiver?
How many Robert Meacham against Kyle plays did he make? Taking a hitch, making a couple guys miss, and then going the distance, or did he make a play because it was schemed up to put him on a linebacker versus Florida? Like,
how do you think they'll evaluate the opening touchdown against Kentucky when he caught just a simple screen? And
they like that. That touchdown is more valuable than the touchdown against Florida.
Even though he had like 3 really good blocks in front of him, and all he had to do was just run straight to the end zone.
More impressive than the Florida touchdown.
And the reason I asked that one about the Kentucky one is, again, because the blocking is what really sprung him loose. It's not like he made a guy miss and got to the end zone.
Mm-hmm. So he's going to have that question. He has the answer about his lateral quickness and catching the ball in traffic. I wouldn't put money on Javonte being drafted, but I would put money on Javonte making an NFL roster and have an opportunity to make a practice squad and build his way up.
Tennessee needs it.
The thing that's tough about Javonte is he didn't catch punts. Like Callaway, that's what helped Callaway out a lot. And Javonte is going to have to be a really good gunner on special teams for him to make a team.
Sure would be nice to see Javonte and Velus make a roster, because then Tennessee can put out a graphic with Jawan, Callaway. I know CP's playing running back right now, but you can throw him on there.
I mean,
then Velus, Javonte.
I think he has 1,000.
Every time I tune into a Falcons game, he's toting the rock, a little toss sweep.
The Falcons put up a graphic of Cordell doing something that no one else has done in the league.
I feel like, am I missing a Tennessee receiver? Jawan, Marquez.
Josh Palmer.
Yes, Josh Palmer. Yes.
Yeah, Josh Palmer.
So, I mean, you could, if Javonte and Velus make an NFL roster next September, you could put a graphic out with 6 guys.
Don't you dare do it.
Why?
Don't say what I think you're about to say.
Why? I wasn't gonna say wide receiver you.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying you can still put out a graphic, just don't put.
No,
wide
you can
receiver
put
you on
put a graphic. We got a lot of work to do before we start talking about wide receiver you.
Hey, all I know is Cedric Tillman got the Joey Kent stamp of approval.
Oh yeah. So the graphic for CP that the Falcons put out was a 1,000-yard season for CP. He's first career 1,000-yard scrimmage season. So it's CP's first 1,000-yard scrimmage yard season. That's pretty strong.
Yes, very strong.
Arthur Smith finally figured out how to use CP. All these other guys didn't know how to do it. Vikings
moved him to running back. Bears.
I think CP was with the Patriots. He won Super Bowl with the Patriots. The Patriots beat the Falcons. He was on that team.
Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to the phones.
We got Turkey Man.
Turkey Man, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning,
I'm enjoying the conversation you got going on there.
Thanks, sir.
A little bit of cold for.
I was wondering. I couldn't tell if I was imagining things or you sounded different.
No, I've got a cold.
Well, I hope you feel better, my friend.
I hope so too. Yeah, it's been a couple of days now. Hey, you're talking along the lines of receivers. How will the offense that we're running? How will it affect the other, like the offensive linemen, the tight ends, the quarterbacks, so on and so forth? being looked at in the NFL, because we are a little different. Apparently, we run a little different scheme. So, how would they look at us and what we run in those players on offense versus something like Ole Miss? As close as I can think of. Any different? Any?
Yeah, with Tennessee and Ole Miss, I would kind of look at us the same because of the tempo.
Right.
But it's going to be about how you win your individual matchups. And can you win? That's what it's about. Can you win? Can you win against the guy in front of you? And if you can, win against players in front of you in this conference consistently, then you can play at the next level. And if you are coachable, if you are smart, if you are dependable, if football matters to you, if you're playing football for the right reasons, I think you can say, all right, Cedric Tillman, you didn't, play in this pro-style type of offense. You did play in a up-tempo type of offense, but you work your ass off. You're a good player. You're coachable. You're smart. We know you love the game. We can take your game and it can translate to the NFL. But if you are someone that solely relies on the tempo and you can't get open unless it's drawn up for you by Josh Heupel, and you don't win one-on-one matchups, but you got a bunch of catches, it ain't gonna matter. If you got a bunch of tackles, it ain't gonna matter. Are you winning one-on-one matchups in this conference consistently? That's what it's gonna be about, Turkey Man.
How did it affect Florida players when Steve Spurrier was there versus, say, us, when in that era of the 90s?
I mean, that's a good question, Turkey Man, because you look at those Florida players and, the receivers in that Florida era, and this hurts me because I looked up to these guys as superheroes, man. Like, I wanted to play receiver at Florida when Spurrier was there, and you had Rideau Anthony, you had Chris Doran, you had Jacquez Green, you had those boys, Ike Hilliard. Like, I wanted to be like one of those dudes. But notice those guys didn't have a long career in the NFL. I mean, the system was built for them to be great at the college level. But the pro level, they didn't have a long career. But they still got you there. And what you do when you get there is on you. So that was that fun and gun passing offense where sometimes little receivers wasn't valued like they are now because you can put guys in a slot and still have success. But Florida's offense then still different now because it's tempo based. I think the one position on offense that's going to be judged the most is offensive line and quarterback. Because, all right, offensive lineman, did you really win your battle because you're better than the guy in front of you? Or did you win your battle because he's just tired? Like Cooper Mays said that he preferred going up against Jordan Davis' backup more than Jordan Davis. No, excuse me. He'd rather go up against Jordan Davis rather than Jordan Davis' backup. And when you hear that, you're like, wait a minute. Jordan Davis is the best defensive tackle on that team. But tempo just wasn't it wasn't his favorite because he's a big old boy. So that means that Cooper Mays is NFL ready because he had more success against Jordan Davis than any other lineman? No, that's not what it means. So that's the questions that offensive linemen have to ask is, all right, how are you winning your matchups? Are you winning your matchups because you got good technique, you meet the measurables with long arms, you have a strong violent punch, you're flexible in the hips, you have great effort, you finish the blocks, like all these things that scouts judge your offensive lineman on. Do you pass those tests? Do you check those boxes with or without tempo? And quarterbacks will have to answer that question too. That's why I think Hendon Hooker's decision whether to leave or come back is not as easy as what people may think, because he has to answer those questions too. Like, would you be able to make those same plays and be the same player if we put you in a pro style offense? I don't know that answer. I don't know.
Guess what email I just got?
Rick Barnes talking to the media
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
because I don't get no emails
because you don't show up.
I get emails about football.
I don't know why. Oh, well, I'm not gonna be able to go.
I still should get emails.
Starts at 10 a.m. Eastern at Thompson Bowling Arena.
Is it Zoom?
No, it's in person.
Can you do Zoom too?
No, just in person.
All right. Sorry, man.
Sorry, Rob Lewis. You'll have to handle the video tomorrow.
Yep, you got it, Rob.
Let's go, Robert.
Robbie.
I just hope Rob can wake up that early.
Robbo. You got it, man. Got it.
Dang. I mean, I just don't know what the media is going to do without me. I mean, I had all these tough questions lined up for the good deacon. I was going to get some answers on why Justin Powell's only playing 2 minutes in the second half, why Brandon Huntley Hatfield's not playing, and why's Olivier taking a step back the last 2 games.
Yeah. Big Bad Voodoo Nate says Megatron played in triple option Georgia Tech. He turned out pretty good. LOL. Yeah, let's name one of the biggest freaks in the last 25 years of NFL history. Megatron didn't matter what offense he was going to play in. It didn't matter.
Well, it speaks to your point about what you're talking about with Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, I mean,
of like NFL folks saw what Calvin Johnson could do even within that triple option offense.
And they'll do the same thing with Tillman.
What's the story on him going to Georgia Tech? Do you know?
From Atlanta.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, was that like his only offer though? Because how could you be a receiver and could you be a receiver and want to go play in that? Did Georgia Tech ever call you? Do you remember?
Dude, I got recruited by every school. Every school.
I know, but I was trying to see if you could remember your reaction when Georgia Tech called you.
Well, Georgia Tech wasn't running that offense then.
Oh, they weren't? Mm-mm. That's how old you are?
No, that's how uninformed you are. How about that? Calvin Johnson, 04.
That's how young I was. How about
recruiting
that?
class. Well, he was a 4-star.
So if he signed up to go play in the triple option, doesn't that mean that
it wasn't triple option 04?
So Paul Johnson got there in the midst of Calvin Johnson's career?
No, he got there in the midst of Demaryius Thomas's career.
Oh, so he wasn't there that far back.
Demaryius Thomas. Calvin Johnson, 04. And
who was his coach when he got there?
Maybe it's O'Leary, I want to say. Probably had to be O'Leary, I think. O'Leary was the one before.
Where's Chip Payne and Rodney and Austell? I know y'all know.
He had an offer from Georgia, he had an offer from Notre Dame, he had an offer from Miami.
But he went to Georgia Tech?
He chose Georgia Tech. Ugh. He was 6th rated in his position, 37th overall player in the country, 6'4", 210 out of Tyrone, Georgia, Sandy Creek High School.
He was just George O'Leary.
He was just George O'Leary.
Well, they're listing this weird on Wikipedia.
Who's the coach, Ben? Come on, man.
I don't know. It's listing it weird.
Come on, Ben. Tell us.
Oh, here we go. What year?
04.
Oh, Chan Gailey.
Chan Gailey, the NFL guy.
It was George O'Leary, then Mac McWhorter for a year.
Chan Gailey.
Then Chan Gailey from 2002 to 2007.
NFL.
I thought Paul Johnson was there more than 10 years. He was only there 08 to 2018. I thought he was there longer.
I can understand Calvin Johnson going to Georgia Tech, man. You get Chan Gailey come in there and say, hey, man, NFL background.
So he didn't play in the triple option, unless it was his senior year.
It was Demaryius Thomas that played in triple option.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I remember Demaryius Thomas playing triple option.
Yes, I do remember.
I remember Georgia Tech tried to put out a graphic about.
Remember
that?
Yes.
Remember that? Remember Georgia Tech tried to put out like a wide receiver U graphic?
Yes.
I was like, man, if y'all don't sit down somewhere with that.
What's worse, that or says he claiming wide receiver U with the graphic I mentioned earlier?
No, we're claiming original wide receiver U. Original wide receiver.
Rodney says that Calvin's mom wanted him at Tech due to the education.
Yep. makes sense. That makes sense 100%. But no, Calvin did not play in triple option, looks like. But Damaris did. I remember Damaris. He was in a 3-point stance at wide receiver on the outside.
Oh, that poor boy. Could you even get into a 3-point stance?
My high school coach wanted me to try it. I was like, Coach, this is not it. Can't be coming out here lining up with my cool spat wristbands and cool gloves, with my hand in the dirt on the outside of wide receiver. This is not going to get it. No, this is not going to work.
Did he ever try to play you at a different position?
Yeah, running back. I played running back. I played safety. I played it all.
So you played defense all high school?
Played some safety. Mm-hmm.
Did was there ever a conversation at Tennessee about playing a different position?
No, never. They know better than that. They know better. Demaryius Thomas was drafted by the Broncos in 2010. So Demaryius Thomas and Calvin Johnson.
Let's not mention Demaryius Thomas on the day that the Steelers are playing, okay?
Demaryius Thomas made Tim Tebow look like John Elway. Oh, man. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Y'all have a great, great Thursday. Swain Event. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. Peace and love. We are out.